Khabib Nurmagomedov, one of the most prolific athletes that the UFC roster has ever gotten their hands on, eclipsing a record of 29-0, retiring on top of the MMA world. But since that point of him retiring on top, seems to have hit some sort of a downslope, or rather a bit of a downslope. Fatality MMA, what could you possibly be talking about? How dare you go after my Khabib Nurmagomedov, my Pookie Bear, my GOAT, the best of all time, the best lightweight? How dare you? He would never do anything bad. He's a humble, funny, charismatic, dominant champion, and he would never do anything to go against his fans or his people or anything like that. We'll see about that. Before I do get into this, I will say I have done quite a bit of research on this. If you want a little bit more of an in-depth kind of a video, you can go over to Aniki MMA. He explains this way more in-depth than I do, so I do want to give a shout out to him. His video is incredible. I would highly advise that once you do finish this video and you do finish liking and subscribing, you go over and check that video out. But the uprise of Khabib the Eagle Nurmagomedov. He debuted in the UFC in 2012 and was 16-0. Regardless of who it was that he was fighting and how people say, oh, maybe he was fighting just a bunch of cans and his record was inflated, it doesn't really matter. He was undefeated and he stayed undefeated. But he gave us a lot of good moments. Funny, relatable interviews.
My next opponent, very good steak with burger double cheese.
What are your initial thoughts right now?
Next is Coca-Cola with ice. It's like, I'm very hungry.
So am I.
Thank you.
A humble but confident, no-nonsense type of attitude. Being the first to kind of tag the word smash.
Alhamdulillah, tomorrow night I'm gonna smash your boy, guys.
And he did, winning the UFC title at UFC 223 over Al Iaquinta, who showed up on short notice. Then later having some sort of a grudge match, as most of you remember, where they ended up scrapping it out at UFC 229, where he ultimately dominated Conor McGregor before submitting him in the fourth round. Shortly after that, he would go on to retire at UFC 254, where he dominated Justin Gaethje, submitting him with a triangle choke, and in the post-fight interview saying that he is retiring from the sport due to losing his father earlier in the year and being true to himself in saying that he would not fight without his father by his side. A happy ending for anybody in any sport, really. I mean, that is the way that Khabib wanted to go out. His dad wasn't around anymore, and he told himself and he told his father and his team, if you're not here, I'm not going to be here. Great ending to the career of Khabib Nurmagomedov. Whether you wanted him to stay or you maybe didn't like having him around because some people thought his style was boring, regardless, that is a good way to go out. But then post-retirement, some controversy struck. In early 2024, the FTS, or the Federal Tax Service, froze all of Khabib's assets due to Khabib not paying all of his taxes and owing upwards of almost $3.5 million in taxes. Now, since that point, Khabib went out and stated that the debt was paid in full and that all of his assets were unfrozen. But less than a year later, the FTS came back out and froze all of his accounts again, saying that he had failed to pay taxes again, leading to him now being monitored heavily by the agency due to suspicious activities. So Khabib and his finances seem to be a little bit shaky. From just that alone, Khabib, what are we doing? Now, this gets into what a lot of people have heard as of recent with the whole crypto schemes and the NFTs and all of that. But that is far from the beginning of when Khabib was doing this kind of slimy stuff. In April of 2021, Khabib released these NFT cards that were to commemorate his retirement from the sport. He sold 3 types of these NFTs, them being in gold, platinum, and 1 diamond card to be sold to the public, which now that only diamond card is held by Khabib in his wallet himself. And in the release of these NFT cards, it was said that the cards that weren't sold were gonna just be destroyed and burned, quote unquote, to artificially increase the value of those NFTs, which, if you need me to dumb this down for you, he's doing that to artificially increase the price of these NFTs to give long-term incentive for you buying these NFTs and getting in now for when they do drop. We're gonna increase the price, and anything that's not sold, you're gonna be able to make money off of it. is essentially what was being sold to the public. And each card had its perks. He was basically telling the public, hey, buy this, you could get all these other things too, not just the NFT itself. So on release, the gold version of this NFT costed 2,900 USD. A platinum price costed 29,000 USD. So obviously the 29 representing his 29-0 record that he had to finish off his career. That was on release. That was when it dropped. The last gold card that was actually sold was sold for 47 US dollars. The gold card. So originally it was $2,900 and now it's sold for 47. And as of today, the current evaluation or the current bid on it is $6.
It's not going, you know what I'm saying? It ain't going, nah, it ain't going to work.
As for the platinum card, the last card that was sold of that is $328, but the current evaluation and bid on that one is $5. And you can look at that and say, oh, it's an NFT, you know, it's cryptocurrency at the end of the day. What can you do? As I stated before, the whole reason and the whole incentive behind this was that they were going to artificially increase the value of these things so that the people that bought them were bound to make money. And here we are. A 99.9% loss on each and every single one of these things that was sold. But it doesn't end there. Khabib Nurmagomedov in 2023 partnered with the company Go Mining, where they sold limited Khabib branded digital miners. People who bought these miners would get the chance to meet him in person. They would have all of these other perks that were also on the cards that were sold in 2021. The price of these were around $2,000 when they were dropped. And they were branded as having these very high return on investment rates where they turned out tons of cryptocurrency and you would be able to make your money back like that. Surprise, surprise. The miners fucking sucked. They had little to no return on investment, and the Go Mining website that Khabib had partnered with had maintenance fees, electricity fees, which led to these buyers of this crypto mining scheme to losing even more money just to keep it up and running. Now, this specific instance in 2023 led to the crypto detective CoffeeZilla to make a video about this and call Khabib out for scamming his fans. And since this point, the largest and most well-known NFT marketplace, OpenSea, has canceled all of the Khabib crypto miners due to violation of the terms of service. So it's gone. It ceases to exist from the internet, basically like the NFTs that he dropped in 2021, and it happens again in 2023. Now, the feud with Conor McGregor starts to ramp up again on Twitter. Conor McGregor gets into a sexual assault case with a woman accusing him of doing horrid things to her. And Khabib comes out and speaks out against that, and he releases a meme coin called Convictcoin. And it was branded as a coin that would produce money to support the victims of Conor McGregor and for these people that were affected by the atrocities that Conor McGregor had committed against them. On release of this coin, it was immediately inflated to a price that was just an obscene amount of money. Then immediately after that, plummeted to the floor to where it was basically worthless. And since that point of it plummeting down to the ground, any and all accounts associated with this coin or websites or anything of that sort that is associated with the Convict coin has since been scraped from the internet, ceases to exist once again. Now, that leads to the Papakha Telegram scam that everyone is talking about right now. Khabib Nurmagomedov went on Twitter and he released a Telegram ad essentially saying, you guys can go onto Telegram and buy this NFT that is made in reference to the Dagestani people and the Papakha, the hat, that big yellow blonde hat. And he references his father and how much it means to his father and his family and his people and how much it would mean to him if you went in and bought this NFT.
In Dagestan, this hat means something. It's called a Papakha. It shows where you come from. The things my father teach me.
And the only thing that I can wonder of why they're going through Telegram to do this is because of all of the other shady business and all of the other places that Khabib and his associates have been banned from, like OpenSea, which is the biggest NFT market on the internet. I can only assume that this is kind of a loophole where he kind of has to cut the corners in order to actually sell the NFT and make money off of this. Almost immediately after all of them had sold, just like in 2021 and in 2023, all of the evidence and all of the posts and all of the promotion has since been deleted, ceases to exist. In that one day of it being released, Khabib reportedly made $4.4 million in one day, which then led to Conor McGregor going onto Twitter and calling out Khabib saying, oh, you use your dad's name in order to make money. How disrespectful of you. And let me say this, Conor McGregor isn't, I wouldn't say that he's like the saint of saints. Like, it doesn't take much to find out that Conor McGregor's probably a piece of shit. But a broken clock is right twice a day. Conor McGregor can be a piece of shit and still see what Khabib did with this most recent Telegram thing, as well as the other stuff in the past. He can point out the fact that it's slimy and he's just trying to take his fans' money. Even in the past with Khabib starting his own MMA promotion with Eagle FC, he was outspoken against things like gambling, things like alcohol, but most notably gambling, and he didn't allow gambling toward his promotion whatsoever. It led to degeneracy and all that sort of stuff. I find so ironic that he's so outspoken against online gambling or betting on MMA. Yet, if you go through his Twitter feed, it's literally nothing but crypto stuff, which is widely regarded as one of the most popular forms of gambling. People day trade with crypto. People long-term bet with crypto. So with that being said, is Khabib the noble, humble, honest man that he says he is? No, like not even a little bit. And by the way, this is just the crypto stuff. Again, please, I encourage you, go to Aniki MMA's video. He goes into detail on a ton of more stuff and all of the different things that Khabib has done to over his fans, take money from people and run. This is just the crypto. I was gonna make this into like kind of a two-part series depending on how this video went. The majority of my info and my intel has come from this Aniki MMA video, as well as the internet researching myself, but a lot of it does come from that video. I feel like at that point, if I made this into like a couple different videos, it would just be like stealing content, and I don't want to do that because Aniki MMA has done a ton of research, and he is tank. Props to him. I don't want to keep going into this subject anymore. This will probably be the only video that I do make on this Khabib situation. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you do think it is as ill-intended as it seems, if Khabib maybe is just ignorant to the whole situation and might not know what's going on and he's just doing what people are telling him, who knows? But yeah, you guys can let me know down in the comments below. I've got a few videos coming this week. I've got the UFC 323 Iceberg that will come out on Wednesday, and then I've got my UFC 323 predictions that will come out on Friday. That being said, please do like and subscribe. Got videos coming out all the time. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.